Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, and you're listening to Incredible Life Creator Podcast. My guest today is Rebekah Smith. After choosing not to pursue a career in academia, teaching film studies, Dr. Rebekah Louisa Smith began her film industry career in 2009, working as one of the producers of Wales' most successful national horror film festival, the Abertoir Horror Festival, and during that time began to develop a great knowledge of the film festival business, which led her to become inspired to start her own innovative company in an industry she loved. Rebekah and the hardworking team behind her company, the Film Festival Doctor, are creators of success and are committed to nurturing filmmakers in order to help them secure film festival screenings, win awards, and a positive recognition within the film industry. Currently, her company have won more than 800 awards for their clients, and her team has supported nearly 850 creatives across the world, enlightening and inspiring their journey towards achieving their goals and following their filmmaking dreams. One of the factors which has led to her success is the blending of both practical business skills and spiritual techniques that infuse new life into her company's growth. She decided to record her hard-won knowledge in her new book, Born to Do It, Becoming the Leader of a Business Niche Using Powerful Spiritual Techniques to help others who are pondering the leap into entrepreneurship or are already on the journey, but yearning for more success and profitability. Rebekah now also offers personal mentoring, described by many of her clients as a deeply knowledgeable and inspirational mentor. Rebekah supports individuals to adopt new strategies, mindsets, and communication techniques which produce extraordinary results. Welcome to the podcast, Rebekah.
Hi, Kimberly. Thank you very much for the intro.
Yeah, and we were chatting just for the podcast, and you're from the UK, but now you are in Mexico City enjoying the warm weather, while here in Georgia, it's been 30, 40 degrees. I'm so jealous.
Oh, wow, that is cold. I don't know, I can tolerate that. I mean, that's something else. I mean, over in the UK where my family are, my friends, they told me that there's been proper snow and ice. And I was like, oh, ice, like a winter storm. I don't know how to cope with it. And also they're in full-on lockdowns. They're indoors just trying to keep warm and having marshmallows by the fire. Which is, I'd rather be out now doing like in the sun. So that's hence for the sunburn.
It's wonderful. So just so people can get to know you, why don't you tell us your story, how you started out, how you got to be doing what you're doing now?
So it's a wonderful journey because I literally did not expect these amazing things to happen in my life that have now shaped me to the person I was actually born to become. So as you mentioned in the intro, I was studying for my PhD, and I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing with my life, because people told me I should. So I presumed they obviously saw my talent, and I've done like all sorts of degrees and qualifications in academia. I have a doctorate, master's, and a BA, and I loved it. It was nice, but it wasn't what felt like I was probably supposed to be doing or passionately drawn to. It was like something I kind of enjoyed. And then a friend of mine asked me to co-produce and organize a horror film festival that was taking place at the university where I was doing my PhD. And I thought, yes, why not? Because something to do to get out of the house without writing all day and going mad and actually interact with people. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And as that went on, producing that festival, I realized that this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. I had this sudden like change in me where I became more alive, more myself. And I felt more like I should be doing this as a career, not just a hobby. So I thought long and hard I was doing it, but I felt more like comfortable in myself doing the work in the film festival world. Then I noticed there was a gap in the market, that nobody was offering the service that my company does at the time. It was very, very few, like a handful of people were doing it, if that. And people needed the service, and there was actually a demand for it more than I thought there was. So I thought, right, I'm going to be the one to fill this gap. I'm going to be the one that's going to be able to help these people get their films to festivals, and I know I can do it because I've got the knowledge and I've got the passion. I know it's going to work because my sole purpose was guiding me to do that. So what actually happened during the festival was I tuned in without knowing consciously to my sole purpose, which was being born to do what I'm doing now, being the film festival doctor.
Wow. So was it just going out doing what you were doing when you were putting that festival together that just caused that spark to happen? And how did you have that certainty?
It did. It was literally just naturally occurred, really organically. But I was loving watching the films with Nia and Gaz, and that's the colleagues of mine who co-produced the festival. They still do it now. Gaz is the festival director. So we were all watching the films together, planning the schedule. And I loved looking after guests. That was my favorite thing. And that was so much fun. And it was like having their own little concierge. That was the best part of it. I was really like guest management. That was my kind of job. And giving them like leaflets around the area and making sure they had reservations. It was a really, really nice job. That was my favorite part. So I kind of loved doing that, but I thought maybe this is it a hobby? But then I realized when I was at a conference for academia, it was this big, big conference. And a friend of mine turned around and went, wow, isn't academia just the best thing in the world? This is amazing, this conference. I was like, no, it's not. I'm really bored.
Oh, no.
This is not where I should be. This isn't my home. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, yes, I'm writing a really interesting PhD and I've got great research and, and it is a good thesis and it's done really well, but it's not my drive or what I should be doing long term. Like my supervisor, he couldn't really see the fascination because obviously he's not in the world of film, he's in the world of academia. Mm-hmm. So he couldn't understand this sudden shift in me. And I was like, well, I'm going to finish the PhD, but I won't be going to academia. It was expecting me to keep researching, teach, and then write books. But I was like, my heart's not in it because I'm not supposed to be doing this full time. Mm-hmm. And eventually he saw it because he saw my Facebook and my Instagram, as time went on, the business was doing well, I was winning awards and all that kind of thing. But it was hard work in terms of convincing him that it was the right thing for me to do. I think he knows it now deep down. But my parents were supporting me, yeah, you can do that. But at first they were like, will it work? But then I did. So now they're with it. It's a bit of a shock because I wasn't going to do a 9-to-5 safe job. Mm-hmm. I was what I was guided to do. And it's true that they say that you never get let down by your guides. Never. You just trust. It's the hardest thing to do. You're still going to work on that even now with certain things. It's just trusting it, not anybody tell you otherwise. Mm-hmm. Believe in yourself.
Yeah. When you're talking, I'm thinking about, a football game. So there's the people who all like to be sitting in the bleachers, looking down, watching the game. But then there's the people that, and they might be studying the game or whatever. But then there's the people that they're like, they can't sit in the bleachers. They got to be on the field playing. And that's what I thought of when you were talking about it. It's like, I can't be here in the bleachers just studying and writing books and letting other people experience it. It's like you wanted to experience that.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's like you just can't sit and watch. I felt like I was watching at one point, but now it's like, no, I'm fully in the moment and where it should be. So yeah, it was something else. It was quite a fun experience just having it happen where it was just you just feel yourself. And literally one way to tap into your self-purpose, what I mentioned in my book, is to try and do it consciously, is to figure out what it is that you were most drawn to, that you could spend hours doing, and like lunch and dinner and snack time will pass. Literally just happily do it forever. And that's what that felt like. I mean, I was working 18-hour days because it was it's a long thing doing a film festival because you've got the whole day. So, you'll start at 10 a.m. and then you won't finish till 4 or 5 in the morning because you've got the, the after parties and all that kind of thing. No matter how cold it is, but it's just how it is, because that's before COVID, obviously, when it was all live. Mm. But I wouldn't realize I'd be really busy all day and all this time has passed. It'll be a couple of hours, so it never drags, never gets dull, never nothing to do. It's always something there because you're always on it. So you feel like you're committed to desired outcome, which is the best feeling.
Mm-hmm. So how did you actually get started in your new venture? How did you get your clients? What was the first product or services you were offering?
Yeah, well, it was really interesting because I remember talking to filmmakers at the festival and I always asked them, what do you like and dislike about festivals? What are your main pet hates, or what are your main favorite things? And they all said the same things. We love coming to festivals. We love meeting new people, networking, collaborating on other projects of people, long-term relationship, business ventures. And we love winning awards, getting our films seen theatrically, getting them just by an audience, wherever it might be in the world. But it's the hard part for us. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know who to turn to create strategy for the film. We're just hoping for the best and seeing what happens. And I was like, well, that's not how you do it. And they were like, well, no, but we don't know who to turn to. So we need someone to really do that for us, create the whole plan and then do the submission. I was like, whoa, well, I can do that. So my friend Colin's a brilliant producer, and he was at the festival and he said, all right, let's do some research. So we Googled people who do what I do now. And there was one company that came up, actually had a presence on a website, because obviously back in this time, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook were very, very, very minimal. They're not like they are now, where they're important business, like marketing and media tools and all that kind of thing. You know how big it is now. Back in 2010, it was very, very like under the radar. No one really used it. I mean, LinkedIn was around, but that wasn't like it is now. It's all very much like brand new. No one knew how to use it for a business. So it was just a website. It was a website back in there. It was like a website and logo. And there was one website which is called Film Festival Secrets. And he is the main guy that does that. He is like the pioneer of this niche. He is the first one to really kind of do it. And he's great. And it was a really good website, but I thought it's missing something, because yes, he offers consultancies, but he doesn't actually do a service where he takes on the project, does the submissions, does the lobbying, or does the screenings. It seems like he's offering great advice, but I want to do more, because I'm being put on here on this earth to help my clients a lot more and go the extra mile. That's what I'm supposed to be doing, not going from a distance. I'm here to care and nurture, and also create. So my brand archetype for my company actually is creator and carer. So there's these certain types of brand archetypes that you have for my brand specialist, and those two are what my brand is. Maybe a little bit of sexiness too when at film festivals, looking all uber glam, but those two, adding like a different edge to it. And that was why I was like, no, it's missing, and I want to be the one to fill this up. And then people were like, well, it's going to be quite a lot of work, but you can think you can do it, then do it. And I was like, I can. There was loads and loads of trial and error with this when it started up, because it was nothing to compare it to. And people told me, I was doing my research, they said, you're going to have to be prepared to work for free at the beginning, because you've got nothing to compare it to as if this works, or to invest in. So it was actually getting off from the ground down, because nobody knew this, and people weren't going to really invest unless there was a track record. They said, you're going to have to prove it, and that means working for free in the beginning. So I did. So I did work on projects for free in the beginning to prove this would work, and proved it did. And then I could charge, and then charge obviously more as you go along with more experience.
Wonderful. And then I was reading your bio, and you've worked with 850 creatives, 800 awards. Well, tell me about that.
Yeah.
How did you get them to that place where they were getting a reward and an award?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. So I've worked with filmmakers all over the world. Predominantly, my client bases tend to be South Africa, the US. Well, when I say US, mainly LA, New York, because that's where the main film hubs are, and some in Texas as well, and the UK, because that's where obviously I'm from. That's where it all kind of began. So I've worked with a lot of people. It's a lot of the time with what I do with it being niche, the main thing that gets more business and work is word of mouth, so strategic referrals and strategic partnerships. Obviously, I do get on social media, there is people that see that as a know, like, trust, because I do a lot of videos now offering tips and advice. People can know it's me to trust, and not all just doing words and pictures. It's got videos, which would be better. So that helps, but predominantly it is word of mouth, and that is the best form of referral, because this is kind of a service that is still very niche. People know of it more now, but not as much as they would do something like a producer or a sales agent, because that's a big niche. This is a much smaller niche, but we do exist, and there's a lot of us. Well, there is not a huge amount, but it's more, but it's still like, a handful. It's not like there's 50 of us all over the world. It's a lot different. So we've also managed to secure for one of our clients in 2010. We worked with a wonderful filmmaker who did a film called Shock, and we helped him create strategy, and we had many consultancies, and it got Oscar nominated in 2016, which was amazing. And that was great to see him come that far, because he put all his money in that, to really make it happen. And he was, doing all sorts of things for nothing, and he got that. So it was really good. And he's a great director. And in terms of the awards, it's actually just over 900 now. So
congratulations.
But it's the films that do that, because we have high quality films that really well, because they're really well made, they're really exciting films, they're edgy, they're groundbreaking. So we're very glad to have this kind of films in our portfolio, and a joy to work with.
Mm-hmm. So let's say someone comes to you and their film isn't where it should be. How do you help them to make it what it needs to be?
So that's good at script stage, to fix the script before it goes into production. If it's in post-production, so it's, being edited and being almost completed, then we can help at that point and then discuss how we can make it stronger and, change things around to be stronger. If it's a film that has no hope, which is kind of rare because you can always change a film, then we work on it in a point where we'll have to just do smaller festivals and not bigger ones.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on the film. Everyone's different. And also the filmmaker's goals. So the filmmaker wants to get into massive festivals with a film that is very below par. We can't work with that. If we can't convince them what the facts are, then we can't work with them. But if they're open to having smaller festivals that's still going to give them some visibility, then that's the main thing. So it's having to care for each client very carefully.
So what they're looking for is recognition, visibility, and hopefully more work or more opportunities.
Predominantly, yes. So what I always do is, a lot of the time I always ask them what their goals are. And they are tend to be similar, getting out there, getting exposure, getting awards, getting the right laurels, getting good festivals. And a lot of them do want to meet new people for more work, because that results in collaborations. And also networking can lead to other things out on the line. It might not always in the first instance get you a job the next day, but it just takes up relationship building. So yes, and that can happen over a while. We've had a client before who've had a good success story. She met these ladies at a film festival in Detroit She-Town, and now they all made a film together. They were on it and made it, because one of them was a writer, one of them was director, one of them was producer. Mm-hmm. So all the people there to make it happen, and that's what they were doing it. So it was lovely. It's quite a nice story.
Yeah. So have you ever been on the other side of the camera?
I have done some presenting, which I do like doing, actually. It is a lot of fun doing presenting. I love doing that kind of thing. So when we were at the festival, we always loved doing Q&As. There was always a fun Q&A. And then we had one Q&A that was epic. And it was in emails, he didn't sound the funniest guy in emails, but he was great in person and so much fun. And he just, we had all these questions he would answer just so bluntly, and be really good sense of dry humor. And then they always would engage with him. So it was a really good energy and rapport. And I love doing that Q&A because it just made me laugh 24/7. It was so funny, really funny. So I love doing that, having banter and having a chat with people I'm interviewing. It's really fun. So I haven't done anything like acting, because that's not really what I'd like to do. I'm more about the presenting, and the hosting is really fun. So I love doing that. So that's my favorite.
So are parties things you like to host?
Yes. So to do a good party at Abertoir Horror Festival, and also any festival you go to that's live, they always have some kind of party. Festivals are a very social thing. Mm-hmm. It's working to a degree online. It's different to shift over. It's not quite as spontaneous as it would be in person right now, and weird and fun. But it's certainly, a lot of festivals are doing well, doing the transition, and hopefully we can go back to live probably end of the year. We do hope to proper live festivals, not massive ones, but at least some capacity. Some festivals are still doing live, just different countries, different ways of controlling the virus, so they can still go live, but it just varies.
Mm-hmm. So let's say you're going to a party. Talk about how you're going to dress, or how do people dress to be noticed? What do you want to do when you go to a party so that you maximize your opportunities there?
So what I do with that, and what I advise everybody who I work with, is to always wear clothes that tap into your energy field. And it's what I call abundant colors. And it's Marie Diamond taught me this, who is a Feng Shui expert. And she told me to tap into her abundant colors of the universe. So I was like, oh, what's that? And she told me this audiobook that she had. And she had this, goes through colors, about how you can access the universe through certain types of colors. So when I first met her, I was wearing black all the time and a bit, dull. It wasn't like I was now. I got obviously quite a flashy dress on. But, it was a black dress and maybe like a grey cardigan, nothing particularly very striking. When I met her, she looked stunning, like she shone like a diamond, literally. This gold necklace, she had like this really nice kind of ivory kind of outfit, and she had pink and rose. It looks stunning. I was wow. And then she told me that, you know, you're not being seen. Nobody can see you because your logo needs to work, but also with you and your colors, you look too dark, and it's not bringing out the abundant energy that you have inside you. And your mindset will change too when you start to change your colors. Now, what color should I wear? She went, what your energy number needs. So on this audiobook, I heard of what I'm energy number 6, and it was all these colors that were like pink and rose and red, and I was like, wow, that's not really what I wear. But I don't wear anything but those colors because I love them. And when I thought, I'm going to make this work, because I mean, it works for her, it can work for me. I mean, she's living proof. So I got rid of all the, like, you know, black dresses, threw them out and give them charity. And then I bought these other dresses and I had a whole new wardrobe. And I did feel a massive shift when I started to dress more for what I should be dressing, and my energy and feel and everything like that. And I felt really good. And I was like, wow, I really like wearing this. And actually more people saw me and wanted to speak to me, and said, people said, you really stand out with the colors. We can see you, like, you know, from a mile away, but you also see your aura. And I was like, that was missing. It was hiding away. So now it's a lot better that I can actually see people and feel more myself.
That is amazing. And I love that. And what was the name of that author?
So her name is Marie Diamond, and she is featured in The Secret, talking about Feng Shui.
Okay.
This is all kind of Feng Shui related, all about energy colors and, you know, yin and yang. And it's called, her audiobook is called Quantum Colors. And it's on her website, but it's a brilliant audiobook, and it's not hard to get through, but it's really interesting. It just shows you how important colors are, both for yourself and clothes, your branding for your company, website, the whole lot. It's a bigger picture to it, but you realize when you hear it how useful it is and how it changes your mindset.
Yeah. So talk about branding and colors and.
Yeah. So when I met Marie, I probably was maybe 2 years into my business, and I was moved to London, because what I did after I had my PhD in, I just went straight to London that day. And literally that day I went to London. I just pretty much left. And I met her at an event, and my dear friend Phil, who's also her good friend, introduced us together. And he said, oh, you should definitely talk with Marie, because, you know, she's really interesting and she does Feng Shui. And I was like, what's that? So she taught me all about this. And I showed her my business card. I went, oh, here's my business card, my business. And she was like, you know, oh, the energy's off. I was like, what do you mean by off? And she said, for one thing, your logo, the woman, has her back towards your lettering. So really what you're doing there is subconsciously, is you're like turning your back to your clients. I was like, really? She said, yeah. I was like, I wouldn't have thought that, but clearly it was. And then she said, that's why it's a bit of a stagnant, weird energy, because you're having issues there with your clients, because I mean, you've got some, but then things are falling through, but also nobody can see you. So we got back to clients, and also it's a black logo, it needs color. I was like, oh, really? So I booked her that next day for a consultancy. I was like, I want to meet you. Made me think a lot of things, and I was there quite down when I saw her. And then I just felt totally uplifted and like what to do next. And I just started my journey on self-discovery and change. And then the minute I saw her, I went to my logo, went to my designer, said, I want this, you know, I need this logo changed. He did it straight away, and it just transformed it. Like the colors, we had gold on, we had stars, we had red for like red carpet. And when the woman turned around to face the logo, it was like, wow, I feel like I'm connected. So little subtle things make a huge difference. And then since then, she became a mentor, and she does a lot of Feng Shui for me. So always keep in touch with her, and I always like what she does, always support her. And I always thank her for that, for this, what she did change my life from being low to high.
Yeah. So have you had her come in and do your home? And
yeah, so I had to do my home I was in the UK, not since I got here. Because at the minute I'm just not sure which area I want to be in, if I want to be in Condisa or Polanco. So just working that out, what I might do longer term. But where I'm now is grey, and it's pretty good Feng Shui. But I've added some colour myself just to give it more of an oomph. It's a little bit black here and grey, which I don't really like. But I've got my big silver bag, and everything here and there. So there's always some color when you come in. It's never going to be still a nice plant.
Mhm. Yeah, no, in the bio that I read, it was talking about you taking business and then mixing it with your spiritual connection. Explain how you do that.
So the way that I would do business is I'm not all materialistic. It's not all about just the money or just about the business and very hardcore business. Yeah, I mean, business, I think spirit and spirituality go hand in hand, really. People might not notice it, but entrepreneurs who are, strong and have a different outlook on life definitely become more spiritual. So the way I kind of mix business spirituality on a daily basis is I integrate into my business manifesting, vision boards, and cosmic ordering, which is great. And I do that in both personal life and business life. So, for example, with cosmic ordering, that's a bit of a new one. It's not as maybe as well known as, say, manifesting. But with the cosmic ordering, that's where you literally place an order with the universe, like you would do in a restaurant.
Mhm.
So, like, what I would really like to order is lemonade and fries with cheese. It's being specific, and you know what you want for you, and then you place the order. It was a bit like that. So Ellen Watts, who is also the woman who published the book and her company, she does that for a living. And then she said to me, the way you do it is this: you say, what I really want is whatever. At the end, you say, for the good of all concerned, so that no one loses out for you to gain.
Mhm.
So give it a go. So to try with the car parking order. So I
Mhm.
thought, we'll do a challenge. I'm going to ask for a parking space in the middle of central London, which is kind of impossible.
Mhm.
It's always in London. It's like, in New York, it's impossible to park anywhere. So I was like, well, this is going to be a challenge. If this can do, if I can get this parking space, it can do anything. I was driving around and I got there and I thought, okay, well, here we go. Let's find a space. And all of a sudden, someone reverses out. That's my space at the right time. I was like, wow. So I just went in and you never get let down. So I was like, wow. But also I had disbelief. I was a little bit like, I let go of it, but I was very much like, well, whatever, we'll see kind of thing. I wasn't that too bothered, but I wasn't expecting anything. When you start to control it and want to know the answers already, it's difficult. If you just trust and let it go, it really helps. I do that for everything, for my business and my personal life. So with business, each morning I place orders to get business leads come in, to get with the clients, 50-50, and for business to do this, that, and the other. For emails to get sent okay, all sorts of things. Literally everything you can do it for, even in the moment, spontaneous ones. So like everything from start to finish, which I love. So it's a very unique approach because it's also not the most kind of like, well, not the word normal, but traditional, shall we say, kind of way of doing business and other people might do. But I'm all about, harmony with the clients, balancing energies and not getting too attached to desired outcomes, manifesting what I want specifically and getting a great vision board up.
Yeah. And talking about when you're talking about, you put out there a request for, business leads, how important is it for you to have actually a pipeline or some system set up to keep the leads coming in?
It's absolutely crucial. So when I first started out, I kind of just had everything written down on paper or memory or looked at email chains or my iPhone notes. It wasn't any kind of watertight infrastructure. And it was actually quite a few years later when I met my business supervisor, Jolanda Miliotto. She was like, no, what you need is a system in place. I was like, a system? And that's going to be a sales pipeline and also kind of other pipelines about how your social media is doing and a sales forecast, a budget forecast. I was like, oh. And then the pipeline was brilliant because she told me this is where you can actually then, every time you meet somebody and have a conversation, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or on email, is to keep a note in your pipeline, and then put the name, what service they're interested in or what product they're interested in. If it's a warm lead or a really hot lead or a cold lead, where it was from, and their email and the contact info, so was it via social media? So you can track that, what's working. Was it an event in person? Was it referral, etc. like that?
Mhm.
And it just helped so much because I get to get track of everything and didn't miss things. And it was incredible. And it was less stressful with having everything in an organized system. Really works. And I look at my pipeline every day. Everyone should look at their pipeline every day because it's very crucial that you do. Because there's so many things in there that you could, follow up on or think about or even like analyze the patterns, where's the work coming from,
Mhm.
who's clientele that most interested, who's doing it. For me, that's what I found through this structure, that all of my work tends to be predominantly 90% will be referrals, so good word of mouth, followed by Instagram, followed by minor kind of paid adverts, but that's tiny. So yeah, so really good in that respect. And every business should have one, because if you don't, it could cause problems long term, because you could miss a lot of things and miss your accounting, not budget properly, you know, so it needs to be in a system.
Yeah. So do you have it color coded so you can see, you know, which stands out, or do you have it like on an Excel spreadsheet? How do you do that so that you can actually look at it and see what's going on?
So I have blue will be cold lead, and then like black will be like a big strong lead, and purple is like in progress. So I can just look at it and go, ah, right, this is, you know, coming together quite easily, and it makes things so much quicker. It's not a chore, it just makes it quicker.
Yeah, yeah, it's so important to have a system, because I know with all the different social medias now,
Yeah.
sometimes it's so easy to miss even a message that someone sends you. I know there have been more than once when I've come back and I'm like, oh man, my goodness, they sent me this message 2 months ago and somehow I
Yeah.
missed it.
Exactly. No, I totally agree. The same thing there. Completely agree. And it's good having it because you can look back and go, oh, I missed that. And then you just, you know, you can save a deal or whatever. So it's really work a lot.
Yeah. So, in your own life, what at this point are the most important things to you?
The most important things are mental health and your physical well-being and my business and my clients. Obviously, family, don't have to mention that because that's a given, like that's just always there to be important. But I think health has become a lot more important than ever now, more so than it was many years ago. I think people are taking their health more seriously. I think that's a really good thing that they need to do. So I always look after my house super efficiently, and I always look after my business and my clients. They're all in tandem. Everything's in alignment. It's not a case of I forget about my health. It's like I always make sure it's priority, and I make time for it to make sure that I'm doing what I'm told by a nutritionist and what supplements to take and what to do, and not going off piste. And with my clients, I always make sure I'm there for them. Everything's up to date. I'm very disciplined because obviously now I work remotely. I mean, I know all of us kind of work remotely, but all I've done since, you know, day one of the business, I've had like a big office. There's no need to, because I'm always traveling, always got a home office, you know, converting my home into an office. I'll do the same when I move into an area here. No, much more than normal it has, and it just goes hand in hand. But it's discipline is a crucial thing. If you wake up and I'm not interested, then it means you're not showing up for the business, and that needs to be done every single day without fail. There was a YouTube video I was doing for a film festival, giving feedback on like the films we watched for the judging process, and there were 3 people on it. There was 2 people from UK and me, and I was obviously here in Mexico. There were 2 others that supposed to come, but they were like not bothered, and they were in London at the same time zone. And I was like 6 hours behind. It was 7 a.m. and I was like not even dressed, and they were like, you're having lunchtime. I was like, well, I'm certainly showing up. So I'm showing up and I'm here making the effort. So this is what I think is a good thing. Shows a commitment to a desired outcome. So that's why every morning I make sure that the first thing I do is go through everything, what needs done and what's urgent. You know, so I'm very focused.
Yeah. So talk about your book.
Yeah. So the book came accident as well. So the book happened during lockdown, in first lockdown in the UK in like June time. So I was asked I got interviewed for a book, and it was an Indian book, and he read about my story and wanted me to this like depth interview, like a really like 10-page spread. I was like, okay. So I did. And then a publishing company read it, and then she said to me, because she knew me, it was Helen, she said, oh, have you ever thought about writing your own story? I was like, no. And she said, well, there's a good story in here to tell, and you can write really well. So have you thought about it? Maybe have a meeting about writing a book. And I was like, okay. So I thought, well, as I've got a bit more time, and I'm really busy with my business still. It's really busy. Since lockdown began, we've been busy because there's all sorts of things happening with the film world. We've been really busy moving festivals online and new clients, you know, so the usual thing, which was great. But I wasn't traveling every day, because I travel like a lot before to festivals, and it was events and goodness knows what else. I'd be out every night, exhausting. So I had that time in the evenings to write. So I'm going to make it, it's going to be like work, because I'm going to commit every day to doing a couple of hours in the evening before bed, which I did because I was busy in the day. And then I did it, and I was really, really getting into it. And I thought, I'm writing something good here, I think, because it's coming out of me normally, telling the stories I want to tell. And I'm really liking this. And I thought, I got something special here. And she was like, yeah. And did a really good job of just, tightening up for me. And a lot of people read it, really resonate with it. So I thought, this is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much like it's not a boring how-to guide, set up your first business. It teaches you how to tap into your soul purpose and then set up your first business, integrating the key components, spiritual techniques and business practices. And it just flowed like literally overnight. There'd be nights I would keep writing until like 2 a.m. because I'd just be like on a flow. I wrote the whole book within 2 weeks. It was natural and I was a good writer. So it was nice.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So where can people get your book?
So you can buy it off Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk. You can also buy it all over the world on Kindle. It's going to be in bookshops soon, but we've held it back because of the pandemic. We wanted to do book tours and in person. We have to hold that back for a bit until we can actually do that properly, hopefully very soon when we can. I've had like a soft launch in London, which was great. So I want to keep doing more kind of tours around here in the US, which will be great to really get it out there in more of the bookshops. It's in Waterstones in UK, but now it's a bit delayed because of the pandemic and all the shops being closed. So.
And what gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life?
To be honest, it's doing what I do. It is actually my job. It doesn't feel like work. It just feels like I'm naturally just getting up and doing what I should be doing. It doesn't feel like work. It feels a joy. So this is my gift. So I love just getting my clients' films into festivals and helping them on their journeys, and inspiring people really, really feels great as well. That's what I think I'm put on this earth to do, is to nurture and to create. And that's a really good balance.
Wow. So if people wanted to connect with you, how do they find you?
Instagram will be a good start. So that's Rebekah, Rebekah, film, FILM, Dr. DR, Rebekah Film Doctor. And my website is RebekahLouisaSmith.com, which is obviously RebekahLouisaSmith.com. Rebekah Louisa Smith.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Sharing your experiences. And I'm definitely going to go look up some of that feng shui things.
Oh yes,
I mean, colors. I love colors.
I mean, that's in the book. That's in chapter 4 of the book, and that is, I think you like that a lot because the colors looking phenomenal. Like it just looks stunning, and I think you love that and connect with it a lot. So that would be perfect for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I have one last question before we complete. What is your best advice on living an incredible, extraordinary life?
Be true to yourself. Really know what it is that you're put on this earth to do. So when you do, you'll feel new, awakened, and loving your life.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rebekah.
Bye.
We'll talk to you again soon.